Hi everyone. Okay, I've been having such issues with going live lately. But also I wanted to start off with these cards. Now, there is going to be a friggin' amazing message coming through in the next few days. And this is a sneak peek about what's going to happen because it was a divine masculine channeled message. And guys, if you're new here, please let me know in the chat box. Let me know who's joining. Where are you joining in from? How long have you been here? I know I recognize some of your names. So drop a question in the comments box. Hi, Shreya. Oh my gosh, you're going to love these divine messages. Yeah, so if you want to ask a question, I will get to the questions at some point during this live. But I wanted to start with a general message and I wanted to give you the opportunity to ask a question. So remember, one question per post, per comment, and then we'll see if we can get to duplicates. Last time, I don't think anybody joined. I think we might have had one or two people, but nobody asked questions. So it was really interesting because I had just finished a reading this morning and it's going to be on my channel in the next few days. But you're going to notice this Four of Wands. And I wanted to share a very specific message for you guys who are listening in. This Four of Wands came up because it's been channeled that there is this sense of soul homecoming. Now, I've never channeled that message before. I think it's the first time I've actually heard of that terminology. So if you've heard of the soul's homecoming, let me know. And this card in particular, this card is about the sacred reunion frequency. Now, we often see the Four of Wands as the divine counterpart, right? The 1111 card, the twin flame union. But if any of you who are listening in and you've been disheartened lately, not that you don't know who your twin flame is, but you've been questioning and then you're letting the whole expectation of twin flame union go, well, this message is for you because your sacred union frequency isn't just with the divine masculine, it's with yourself, right? It's stepping into a timeline where union is just inevitable. And this is the foundation that you're creating. Like, you're creating these pillars. You're creating the harmony, the foundation, the ability to actually find union within yourself, within the safety, the sanctuary, the peace, the trust that you have in yourself. And these two cards are very interesting. I do know what they are, but I wanted to kind of tease you a little bit because it's so interesting. The Four of Wands that came out on this one really epitomizes this sacred union, this celebration, this foundation. Like that, those are the three words. Sacred union. Okay, that's two words right there, but celebration and foundation. Let's call it four words, right? This card is appearing because it's giving you the opportunity to look for the stability, the security, the safety, the trust within yourself. Like, you are the one who is creating this, and you've been given the responsibility to build that safety, security, stability, trust within yourself. By the by, this is happening for the divine masculines as well, but you're having to be in separation in order to do that. So when we have a look at, there were these two cards that came out just after the reading, and these two cards basically are the Emperor. No, I am not kidding you. It's the Emperor. And the Emperor for me shows up because you are the one showing up for yourself, divine feminines. You're showing up for yourself, and your divine masculine is saying that they are ready. But they're not coming from a wounded place. It's not a place of uncertainty or an in and out energy. It's rooted in that kind of Four of Wands responsibility. It is rooted from this heart aligned place, this, you know what I mean? It's like just this exhalation. It is this ability for the divine masculine to truly step up for themselves because you are stepping up for yourself. You have been so concerned with your divine masculine, especially, watching readings and going through all of these questions and answers, and that's fine. Like, we all have those phases. But what I'm seeing here is the more you strengthen your own foundations, feminines, the more you strengthen the pillars of your foundation, that's when your divine masculine steps in. Like, it is so common for you to focus on yourself, to focus on your energy, to focus on divine protection, and that's when your divine masculine comes in. They are coming in to say they're ready, but it might take you by surprise because all of that energy isn't being directed to them. It's being directed towards yourself. The passion, the creativity, even the being in isolation. So you're able to stand taller because your inner divine masculine and feminine is healed, is healing, is evolving, is ascending, is rising. And that's when the divine masculine feels that energy. So that's the energetic pull that they're getting. They're wanting to go into this stability, the leadership, the protection, the maturity, because that beckons them. That's the frequency that they're on. This is like a Knight of Wands evolving to their highest potential. It's not just acting on impulse, it's a vision. They're becoming the man who they wanted to be, the vision of what they wanted union to be, and that's wanting them to bring it into reality. So not only have we got the Emperor, we had, I'm not even joking you guys, another card, which is the Four of Wands. So we've got the Four of Wands, and then the Emperor wanted to come out with the Emperor and the Four of Wands. Why is this significant? As I said earlier, this potential is being grounded. This union, this celebration, this foundation is all being grounded. This is the divine masculine saying yes, right? This is the sacred, stable, irregardless of being in fear. They are mirroring your gateway. They're mirroring your portal towards your destiny. And this destiny is being forged based on you focusing on yourself, divine feminines. So this is why it's so incredible that we've got the Four of Wands, we've got the Emperor, and we've got the Four of Wands. Now, this destiny is supposed to be built in this way. It's always supposed to be you filling up your own cup. And because it's aligned with the divine masculine, this is an energetic portal that you hold, divine feminine. You are the one who is holding this portal right there in between. This is the fire that you're bringing in. You're being held by the divine masculine here because you are in free flow with the flow of life. That's where the shift is. If you are feeling like you might be in a bit of a void, but you're also happy and content and focusing on your own goals, this is because you are stepping into your higher version of yourself. Your divine counterpart is stepping into the highest version of themselves. And it's this co-architectural, sacred partnership that's appearing. So when you're seeing the Four of Wands, if you're seeing 444 lately, 555, Like, this is so significant. And oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I completely forgot the Emperor is the 4 card. So we've got the 4 of Wands, the 4 card, which is the Emperor, and we've got the 4 of Wands. So listen, you guys, this is the divine masculine saying that they've always wanted for you to maintain this temple. They wanted for you to understand that you are a portal to the divine, and that structure needed to be solidified. It needed to be cleaned out through the healing. And they want you to know celebration is coming because it started from within. It's always been from you. And I'm not even joking. These 2 cards, I was gonna do another deck, and these 2 cards came up. And I was like, okay, you guys, I need to tell you about this on the live reading because we've got the Lovers card and then we've got the 8 of Pentacles. This has not come about by chance. You know why this has come about? Because the love has always been from within you. You recognize the union belongs to you, for you, within you. Nothing is outside of you. It's literally 11:11. It's just as I said that, 11:11. Come on. These are the messages that you need right now. If we think about how much work you've been doing on your self-love, on your foundation, on your stability, safety, security, when you have been refocusing your energy into source, into serving others, into healing yourself, into rebuilding your self-worth and self-respect, putting up boundaries, that's when the divine masculine comes in. And you're not doing it because you want the divine masculine to come in. You're doing it because you know your inner divine masculine is always in bonding with you. Whenever you're feeling a little bit stuck or a little bit unsure, it's them coming through you. And whenever you're feeling secure and you are feeling stable and you're feeling heightened, they feel that frequency with you. So you are leading energetically. You have been doing the work in the physical and the spiritual. If you're feeling like quite fatigued lately, it's because you're doing a lot in different dimensions. And it's okay to escape in this world sometimes. It's okay to have a moment to yourself. This is where you really need to put those boundaries in with people, places, and things and saying, no, you know what? This is not for me. I'm going to cut this off because I know I'm worthy of more. I know that this place may be a little bit of a void, but this is what I'm experiencing right now. This is the emotions that I'm going through, and I'm going to allow myself to feel those things. You're going to allow yourself to feel those emotions, and then you get to choose again. So I loved those messages that came through. I absolutely adore the fact that the feminines are really coming into their own power. I'm going to put these cards back in actually because I love having these divine messages come through. And I will answer some of your questions. So if you've got questions, please do pop them in the comments box. And I would love to answer any of your questions. Please just pop in one question per comment. And we'll see what comes through, right? We'll see if there are any messages that need to be revealed. And it doesn't have to be about your twin flame. It could be about your personal journey. It could be about what's going on currently. There's a lot happening for the divine feminines, and sometimes it's really difficult for ourselves to process it on our own, which is why I've got the Divine Sacred Tarot community. Head over to my website. If somebody can pop my website in in the chat box as I'm shuffling, it's divinesacredtarot.com. You can also book personal readings from that. I won't ever private message you about those things. You use your own discernment. Hi, Godspan. Hi, Shreya again. I feel like I've already answered your question. And I love the fact that you were the first person to ask a question, then you retracted it because you got your answer. So I'm so glad that you were able to reframe, right? So that is your reframe question. Thank you, Rachel, for being here. Thank you for asking questions. Let me just go through Shreya's question of what does Shreya need to focus on in her life? What is the guidance that we need to share with Shreya and anybody else who's listening right now and also in the future? Because, you know, if one person is brave enough to ask these questions, there is going to be a ripple effect, a ripple across the pond that it's going to help other people. So, what does Shreya need to focus on at this time as a divine feminine? Okay, this is insane because the reading that I was literally on about had these cards too. Like you guys have, you need to wait for this reading. It's friggin' amazing. But let's have a look at what the divine feminines are needing to focus in on right now. So we've got the bottom of the deck, the judgment card. Okay, this is quite significant. So I'm going to pop the judgment card. Let's just have a sneak peek. Okay, so the death card was at the top of the deck and the judgment card was at the bottom. Let's have a look. The divine feminines are really grounding a lot of friendships. Now, I feel it's very important to use your discernment about which people you want to cut away from. Cutting people off, cutting energetic cords are quite serious processes, are quite serious rituals. So I don't feel the divine feminines are necessarily cutting people off, but they're kind of cutting off their energy towards these people. So then when they're feeling a little bit more open, that could come through when they allow that energy to free flow again. What am I saying? Well, with the Three of Cups, you are seeking companionship. And what I mean by that is you could be asking your higher self, your inner child, you could be asking a few female friends or even some guy friends. You're only letting a few people in. And that's the type of energy that I'm getting. You're only going to be letting a very particular type of energy in, and this is going to help you process what you're going through. And what I mean by that, it could be certain people's tarot readings, it could be your friends, it could be your family, it could be anything to do with, you know, reaching your higher self, reaching the higher vibrational energy. And remember, the Three of Cups can also be about celebration, it could be about friendships. And what is significant about the previous divine masculine message that I was channeling is the Three of Cups actually did come up in that, as did the Two of Swords. And basically, it talks about this type of sisterhood, it talks about expansion. Again, that Four of Wands type of energy, the celebration, the soul alignment, the energy of joy, flow, laughter, creativity. Like the more and more you get into these types of energies, the more you're attracting. And this is what I was saying before. When you're focusing on your Four of Wands, when you're focusing on your higher regards, it's going to flow to you that much more easily. And the divine masculine's energy is actually attracted to that. So then we have the Two of Swords, and this isn't a necessarily bad thing, but what I'm seeing here is because you're focusing on the latest version of you. For some of you who are listening to this, either now or in the future, you have been wanting to explore a new version of you, but you're not the same person you were a week ago. Some of you are waking up in the morning and you're not even the same version of you that you were yesterday. And when you get this type of message, you're going to resonate with it. Like it doesn't need to be over explained. But with this Two of Swords that's coming in, it's because when you've got the blindfold on, when you are like in this meditative state, you already know your higher self's answers. You already know that you can rely on your intuition, you can trust yourself a lot more, even trusting in the void, even trusting in the unknown. So this is actually bringing in a whole host of possibilities and probabilities I've just heard. But then we've also got this Nine of Swords. Now, some of you will be going through some, it's almost like evening rituals. You need to readjust your evening rituals to actually come to a place where you are actually spiritually tackling a lot during your dream state. Some of you probably are having dreams at this moment if you're remembering them. It might be like, wait a second, was that actually real? Did that actually happen in my real life? That's the type of energy I'm getting, because Shreya, what I'm seeing is, even though you're focusing on all of the beautiful things, some of your dreams are actually kind of knocking you, but they also could be sending you a few messages. This could be from past people who've passed away, ancestors. It could also be your angelic guidance teams. So this is basically the type of energy that I'm seeing for the divine feminine, but also particularly because of what you need to focus on, Shreya. You are on the right path. You're focusing on the friendships, you're focusing on the joy, you're focusing on your intuition, you're focusing on the dreams and any insight that you're getting from that dream state, but you may be even shifting your evening rituals. And this is going back to that state before. You're no longer seeing yourself as the old version of you. I feel like you're reinventing yourself. That's the word. The reinvention of who you are is actually bringing about this divine order of judgment. It's bringing in the necessary tools for you to adjust to the new life, to the new version of yourself. So I hope that resonated with anybody who is listening in, but particularly for Shreya. Hi, Rachel. You broke up after 4 years of friendship, 6 months ghosting, getting intimate. Last 2 months, you disconnected mutually. He felt me feel that. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's just going back to a lot of your energies are being cross-fed, like you, because you're tethered. It's the cross-feeding of emotions, and yeah, sometimes you just feel like that's it, I'm done. Like it's not that you're giving up, it's just you're done with that energy. That's the type, it's like that type of energy is like, I'm done. I'm done being that version of myself and I'm ready for more. So let's have a look at God's fans first question. We've got that, Terry, in your physical union, is it almost time? Wondering how it will feel as approaching is near. Now, it's so funny because I'm going to split the cards right there. I feel like this card is important, so I'm going to pop that first. And then we've also got one, and then we'll put another two there. Now, I had a question on my YouTube channel, and basically I had seen that when I was asked about timelines, this particular question came up, when will it be time for me and my person to come into union? And it's almost like God's fan, this is your question. It's, you're wondering how you would feel as the approach is near, because a lot of times twin flames feel that this is the year, this is the time they will actually get into physical union, and then it doesn't happen. So what I'm seeing is there is going to be this type of step forward where it's almost like it's going to trip you up. So you're going to get two phases of union. What I mean by that is you're going to get, like, this is a really important card because it's the Hierophant card, but it's also the major arcana. So at the bottom of the deck, we are getting number 5. It might be significant to you at this time. But the number 5, I'm seeing that you're going to get to 2 stages of union. And what I mean by that is, like you could probably say 3 stages. You're going to feel in the spiritual realm or in the energetics that you and your person are going to be together in the 3D. Like it's this It's this just knowing. You're gonna know. But then also that's going to pass. Like it's almost like you're gonna go past that timeline and you're like, wait, was I wrong? Did I mess this up? Am I still going delulu over this person? But then so then that was like the false type of like first stage of wanting to be in union, thinking there's a timeline. So that was the first part. The second part is when you do feel in union and you don't even need physical evidence. Like it's this type of certainty of union that you are in union because you and your divine masculine are tethered. Your inner divine masculine is them, their inner divine feminine is you. And when you can honor and respect that version of yourself, that's when you know that that other version of you who wanted a timeline hop and could feel certain about union was the past version of you. Like that, she's dead and gone. They are dead and gone. What's now coming to you is this understanding of learning of the ways you can honor yourself and your inner union. The third portion of the union is it's not that you're gonna know, it's almost it's gonna happen and it's gonna catch you off guard because you're gonna be in the moment. So prior to this, when I said about the three stages of union, prior to this, you're gonna feel as if you're gonna be in union by a sad point. When that sad point leaves and passes, you get to a stage of a new phase where you are in union with one another. Like as in spiritually, viscerally, energetically, you already know you are with your counterpart. Then the third stage is when you are together, but you're so consumed about being present that you've forgotten about that timeline. So I hope that makes sense. I know that was a lot of information. So let's have a look at what the cards actually mean. The Knight of Wands, again, these are repeated cards that came up in the reading that's going to be live in the next few days. Like it is an insane reading. It's actually called, let me see if I can go back and have a check. I think it was called Hold Fire. It was called Union is Inevitable. So look out for that one. The Knight of Wands is calling for you to return to your inner fire. Now, sometimes when we are caught in those three stages of union and we think there's a timeline and we actually do genuinely feel we're going to be in union with this person by said point, like that energy that you're directing towards the divine masculine needs to be redirected to self, to higher self. Look how the Knight of Wands is going backwards, because when you get that energetic pull of I know we are in union and we're going to be in union by this date of this month with all good intention, you're being asked to revise that energy to come back to inner union. So it's almost as if when you've got that timeline, it's going to want you to go back to your inner state of wellness, your inner state of abundance and prosperity and source energy, so you can actually move forward. So it's like you have to be pulled back in order to go forward. Let's have a look at what the second card is. The Five of Wands. I really like the Five of Wands here because, again, it's that mimicking message of upskilling, of going through tests, trials, challenges that are going to help you identify how to get back to inner divine union. This isn't about the external. Remember, yes, we want the external union, but when you know, it's gonna change your whole world. You're gonna be celebrating because you're not asking for perfection, but you're gonna be in the present moment when you are actually in union. And that's when a lot of people stop watching tarot. Like they completely stop because they're so busy being in the present. But actually, funny thing is somebody actually wrote this, God's fan. So this is like the second portion of your question about you and Terry. You actually said if full unification is approaching, and what's the next step after full alignment? This is it. This is when you are in physical union and you're in the present moment. Yeah, you don't need tarot per se, but this is when you should be watching tarot. You know why? Because that's when the real challenge starts. Like, you're going to get inundated with new challenges with your person, because yes, you need to be present, but there are going to be new ways that they're going to trigger you, right? So now let's have a look at the final card. I love that this card has come up. Absolutely love, because when it comes to your timeline, is going to pull you backwards like that catapult. You're going to be pulled backwards. You're going to have to reassess all of the things that come back to the inner union. That pulling back energy is going to lead you to the next challenge and the next um identification of what union is on the internal plane. And then when you know what that is going to be a direct communication with your divine masculine, because they also have been through that energetic pull, and then they can recognize inner union within themselves. That was a really powerful question type of reading. So I hope you enjoyed that, God's fan. Like, that was pretty powerful. I loved that one. Let me know if you resonated at all, and let me know if any of you can identify between those stages of union, because I also feel like it is a lot going on for the divine counterparts. Like, for twin flames, it is not an easy journey. A lot of people choose to let go and actually be with soulmates. But remember, everybody who comes along on your journey is helping you, is teaching you, is allowing you to grow. So never be, it's not regret, but it's like, don't be resentful of anybody who comes in, because they're all teaching you and you are teaching them, right? I'm also sensing a lot of perfume right now. So if you've just sprayed perfume, or you can smell somebody around you, that is a divine kind of like protection is what I'm hearing. So anybody who's put perfume on today or has sprayed themselves, just kind of go, you know what, I feel good. I'm just going to, this is going to be my makeup for today. I'm going to put perfume on me. That's like a divine protection that's happening around you. So hi, Lolita. It's so good to see you. Rachel, yes, oils are so good. It's so good for helping you sleep. It's so helping you get back into the present moment. And frankincense is stunning. So yes, amazing. I love that. This is amazing. I love you guys for being here. Thank you so much. Please do like the video as well. Okay, so Lolita's question is how to make your relationship to the wonderful reunion with my twin flame. Now, Lolita, I hope you listened to God's fans cards, because I feel like that was for a lot more people, not only for God's fans. And guys, you've got to know this even before I continue shuffling, is when you ask questions, you're putting a powerful portal in place for other people who are not asking questions, but you're answering the questions that they need to hear. Guys, let me just say that again. You guys who are asking questions, who are tapping in live, are actually being of service to those people who actually need these answers. So please, please, please hold yourself in high regard, because this energy is literally 3333. As I said, this energy is like big. So give yourself some credit, give yourself some justice. Like, communicating and like commenting on these videos, you're doing work to help other people, and I don't think you realize it. So Lolita, that question that you just asked, go back and watch God's fans message, because I talk about union and I feel like it's going to be in alignment with your question. And then you also asked, is this any spell between your twin flame and their karmic? So that question I will ask, right? Answer. Spell bounding, Ace of Wands, Six of Pentacles, and the Nine of Swords. Now, instantly, when you said, is there any spell binding between the twin flames and their karmic? Like, you unknowingly pick up other people's karmics or their ill intentions by various ways. So it is highly advised. I mean, you don't need to take it, but it's highly, highly advised that you always do a protection around you. If you wish to include your twin flame, use your discernment. This is saying no. But then we've had the Nine of Swords. So let's have a look at the karmic spells between the twin flame and their karmic. There is also going to be a sense of energetic spell binding work because it's a karmic. So anyone you come across, like even if you say what you want to do as a project, as an idea, there's going to be somebody who kind of like goes, you're not going to be able to do that. Like that is almost a spell or a negative energy. So I would be very, very careful about, speaking those things into existence around certain energies. There are always going to be certain people who don't know that they're pushing their karmic on you and then altering the energy. Be that as it may, your question about the spell between your twin flame and their karmic, I don't think that there's a spell until there's this unintentional pull that your karmic naturally has on your twin flame. So earlier when I said your first question was on about unification, reunion and unification, and I was saying go back to God's fans answer cards, messages, because the reason that you're going through this is you're going back to a version of you that is truthful, that is stable, that is honest, that is authentic. And when you are all those things, your divine masculine is pulled in your direction. Right now, they are pulled towards this fire, this passion, this relentless lust that actually they didn't get in the past. And it could be from a mother, it could be father wounds, it could be any siblings that they had this rivalry with. It could even be a past partner that they didn't receive what they wanted. Be that as it may, they are learning specific lessons with their current karmic partner. So we need to respect their journey as much as we have to go through our own journey, including us navigating them being with a karmic partner, right? So there may be a spell that the karmic has put on the divine masculine, but it's up to the divine masculine to break that. It's not up to somebody else outside breaking it, because it's up to the divine masculine to break through that illusion. And everything is an illusion, right? Even union is an illusion, because when we think about it, everything happens for a specific reason, lesson, challenge, in order for us to come back to our truth, to our authenticity. So I hope that that message made sense. This is such a powerful kind of space that you guys are holding. So thank you so much for being here. Hi, Laura. You've just joined in at the perfect time. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. So I'm doing a general question and answer, one question per comment, please. And I had literally said to people who are commenting, who are asking questions, please be honest and authentic, because you are probably helping somebody else who needs these answers, needs to navigate their own energy. So I'm going to split the cards again, and then we'll have a look at the divine feminine energies. So I feel as if these two cards wanted to come out. So let's pop these here, and then this card at the top. And I'm also going to shuffle another deck. So let's have a look at, I'm going to do the Light Seers Tarot deck. So let's have a look at this deck. And I'm going to pull 6 more cards out. And let's see what's happening energetically for the divine feminines. I feel as if Shreya's question really did help support the divine feminine type of energy that's coming through and releasing. So if that message resonated with you, please do click the like button and yeah, comment, send me an emoji, whatever you feel. Okay, I feel like these cards wanted to come out. So let's go for, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, okay, so there's 5 here. There's way more cards than I thought there were going to be, but I feel like they are all here for a reason. Okay, and this card wanted to come out. Oh, look, we have the Hierophant again. This was going back to God's fans' question about acknowledging union. Is union approaching? And the divine feminines are constantly being reminded to come back to their authentic self, to balance. Look at this, 2 major arcanas, to balance in the energy of inner union, So I feel like that's important right now. Actually, let's put those cards right here. I want to make sure that we actually have a little bit more going on there. So, okay, perfect. Let's have a look at the first card. What is the divine feminine's energy that we need to look out for at this time? For anybody who's watching. Okay, so the 3 of Pentacles is important. When I said earlier with the 4 of Wands is it's the divine feminines who are creating the stability, the safety, the security, the trust. I feel like this is the foundation towards your new version of self. Like I had mentioned, I think it might be in today's reading or even a reading that's going to come out in the next few days, that basically the feminines are kind of transforming, but the transformation phase doesn't look like much in the 3D. Like it just doesn't look like you're doing much. It doesn't feel like the connection is doing anything. It feels like stalemate. But that's not what's happening. I feel that the divine feminines going through the stage of rebirth and your foundations aren't going to be seen until the near future. So don't be disheartened that right now you may not see any of this action happening, because remember, you are a portal to other worlds and you are a creator in the ethereal realm. So in the 5D, there was a lot of work going on. There was a lot of work working with your energies. There's a lot of work balancing your energies. There's a lot of work with archangels and ancestors and spirit team, and even you being on here and listening to these messages. Like you are adding to the frequency of the world. What's happening here is you are creating this new foundation for others to rise up. So don't feel like you're not doing much because you don't see it. Energetically, you are in the right place. So keep listening to that sense of intuition you have within yourself. Okay, so the other question that I wanted to ask is, what is the current challenge that the divine feminines are facing at this time? Oh, wow. Okay, the Judgment card. So now 3 major arcana that wanted to show up in this particular reading. Now, the Judgment card is this kind of triumph from the angels. Your angel, your network, your support system are really enabling you to keep continuing on this very path. You know what you need to do next because you keep asking your higher self. You keep asking yourself questions. You keep reflecting and trusting the bond that you have between yourselves. And because of that bond, you're actually being celebrated towards the next stage. So there's going to be a lot more doors opening, and you're probably going to feel this in the investment world. So you might be coming into new money. You could be having new ideas and projects and opportunities in front of you. And this is like the hints of the universe saying, you may be thinking that you're doing all of this work and it's being unnoticed, but you're wrong. You are being noticed. You are being watched. You are being guided and protected through every step. We see you. We see what's going on. We see the work that you're doing. We see the healing and the transformation that you're making. You need to keep going on this new version of yourself. So that's the challenge that I feel like a lot of divine feminines are going through at this time. What is the situation between the divine feminines and their divine masculines? The Queen of Swords. Okay, so some of you might be having specific words with your counterparts. There may be communication coming in. Now, if there has been a stalemate in communication, I feel like there is communication coming in. Now, again, guys, it could be communication in the physical, but it could also be communication in the 5D, in the signs, symbols, synchronicities, songs, all of those S's. um, I feel that there is communication coming in from your masculine, and it's more about them preparing themselves. They're encouraging you to continue on your journey to master your own creativity, your own authenticity, and listening into your intuition. Some of you may be journaling, some of you may be channeling certain things. This is all required for you to communicate with your higher selves. And remember, you can easily communicate with your divine masculine's higher self. Just tune into yourself, right? So if there's anything that you want to share with them, I did this a lot with my divine masculine, and I remember if they weren't around me or they weren't communicating in the physical, I would just have a conversation with them in the 5D, and I'd be like, dude, what's going on here? Like, what's up? Give me some information. And honestly, guys, instantaneously the numbers would come up, or the song would come up, or the messages would come up, or my friends would message. But I know it wasn't my friend who was messaging me. I knew it was my divine masculine because of the way they were saying it. So what does a divine masculine's higher self want to share with the divine feminines at this time? Really, you guys? Yes, they're working on their abundance, but look, they are working. It may feel like they're probably sat on their ass and they're not doing anything and they're not making moves towards you, but they're making moves towards where it counts. They need to create the stability, the safety, the security for themselves in order for you to come in. A lot of divine masculines don't come in prematurely because they don't have the foundations to give to you, and their worthiness depends on that. So it doesn't matter how much you tell them that they are worthy, that they are handsome, that they are attractive, that they are all of these different things that you want to tell them. This is the type of divine masculine who needs to convince themselves of it first in order to woo you, in order to make moves, right? So that's the divine masculine's higher self, letting you know that you are being acknowledged not only by your own spiritual team, but also by the divine masculine, who wants for you to know that they are working on it, that they are coming in when they really are ready, and they are going to take action. They're going to be intentional. They're going to be consistent. What else do we need to know about their current challenge? The Queen of Swords. Now, this came up here for the divine feminines, but I'm also seeing the Queen of Swords. Even before I shuffled the deck, I knew that this card was relevant, but what I'm also seeing regarding this energy is it's the divine masculines who want to communicate. So the divine feminines are, yes, focusing on themselves, doing what they need to do, keep rising higher into their own highest level version of themselves. And this Queen of Swords is saying that I'm listening. I get these messages that you're coming through to me. I'm honoring the energy that you're bringing, but I'm also honoring and trusting my own self. I'm trusting my inner self, my higher self, and I'm going to speak kindly to myself. I'm going to be more authentic. And this is not pushing the divine masculines aside, but actually letting the divine masculines know that they're not taking any BS anymore, that they are showing up for themselves, and they need the divine masculines to meet that at that higher level. So, what do we need to know about the future energies regarding the counterparts? A major arcana. A major arcana underneath the major arcana of the Judgment card, saying that this is the new version of the both of you coming in. You came together to trigger one another to rise higher. And then when you separated, you were no longer in resonance of their frequency, because that initial contact, that initial meeting did everything that it needed to do. So in order for you to continue in this geometric path, in this series of evolutionary awakening, you had to go on your own journey. You had to be separated for the both of you to understand what healing needed to be done, what understanding, what wounding needed to come up, what version of you needed to be transmorphed into the version of you that you want to be. And then those versions of you come together. What else do we need to know about this transformation what else do we need to know about this transformation regarding the union? King of Wands. Now, earlier we had the Knight of Wands. It was the divine feminines being pulled back towards their higher self, which was this Hierophant energy. And now we've got the King of Wands, because remember, instead of playing small, they want to be the king in this situation. Like, you're coming in as the queen, divine feminines, so they need to be better than they were before. They need to be a version of themselves that wasn't there before. They need to be a version of themselves that was humbled, that had given away their power. And if you look at these two animals, we've got a lion here and we've got a wolf here. Like, these are pack animals. They are leaders. They are ruthless. And the divine masculines know that they can take that energy and rip somebody's head off, in a sense, but they also don't want that energy to be used in any superficial way. And what I mean by that is the divine masculines are coming in because they want to be the protector. They want to be the energetic leader, but they don't want to misplace that energy and it come across angry. I think that that's what they are going through right now, is a lot of divine masculines may be misplacing their energy and pouring it into different pathways that is dissipating their energy. And what I mean by that is it's the same for the divine feminines. When the divine feminines are focusing on the divine masculines, they're not doing their work towards their purpose and their mission and their energetic frequency. So when the divine feminines are focusing on source energy, the divine masculines can focus on their own source energy, and then that's bringing them into the new version of themselves that comes together, right? What else do we need to know? What's the final message that we need to know regarding both individuals focusing on their source energy? Eight of Pentacles. These are recurrent cards because we had the Eight of Pentacles earlier around the Lovers card, didn't we? So we had the Lovers card and we had the Eight of Pentacles right at the beginning, letting us know that all of your hard work is being noticed. You know, what I said earlier, your ancestors, your spirit guides, your team is rooting for you. They know how incredibly hard you've been working, how much you've been pouring into yourself. So you need to keep going. Now is not the time to give up. Now is the time to batten down the hatches and really play where you need to go. And what I mean by that is, if you are being called to go to bed early and this is the new version of you in this season, do it. If you're being called to read certain books, or, you know, just take your foot off the gas when it comes to hustling mindset, do it, because all of these energies are actually bringing you into worthiness, into wholeness, into union with yourself. And that's actually helping your higher self, their higher self, your ancestors, your purpose, mission, spirit. So I really, really do like that message. I haven't noticed any other questions that have come up. Let me know if you're watching this on playback, if there are any messages that resonate. Click the like button if you haven't already. And I'm sending you guys so much love. So thank you so much for being here. And let's try again on our next question and answer next week. I'm sending you guys so much love. Bye for now.